gonna do our 1 hour bunny challenge. Let's see here. We'll go with that. Now this is the white. We're just gonna get the white out. And I'm going to... I am using a new manufacturer's sample panel. The manufacturer is ARTEFEX, and it's something new that I've never tried before. I'm not sure how this is going to come out because of it. Let's see, we're going to put him no further away. We're going to actually make our frame lines. Okay. So I don't want him coming out any further than here. And then I'm going to take a measurement of his head and use that same measurement to measure how many heads make up the body. And I find that it's 2 heads that make up the body in this particular pose. So I'm really just getting started here, and I can tell there is a big difference in how the pigment comes off my brush onto this panel. There's more resistance. I'm not sure if it's because the pigment is absorbing, but I'm having some difficulty already. You know, I do like this drawing. It does have a suggestion of good bone structure and muscles in the rabbit, so it's not cartoony. But believe me, I cannot capture this, and you'll see how things progress. I'm going to make it rather large. One minute or 1 hour challenge. I haven't done one of these in a very long time. He's got some tipping on his ear here. So right here, you can see that the paint is separating. It's almost like it's acting like watercolor, and yet this is oil paint. And I'm actually doing a block end. So what I'm noticing here is it looks like the pigment is being absorbed by the panel. Now the panel has some kind of surface that they laminate on it, and it looks to me like watercolor paper, like cold press watercolor paper, and that could be the problem here. But it is supposed to be for oil painting, so I don't understand what's going on. But I do end up working it out. You'll see towards the end, I start getting the hang of it. But there's definitely a difference from my Ampersand panels. I'll post a photo right now of the final painting. I'm going to get a bigger brush. Darker tones back here. So can you see how the paint is streaking? With my ampersand panels, I never have this kind of streaking happen when I'm blocking in. So block-ins are usually thinner passages of oil paint, which means in my case, because I don't use turpentine, I would be mixing it with liquid. But on ampersand, it still goes on a consistent coat, a very consistent coverage. That's not happening with this panel. Well, right now, I am trying to develop the background. My plan is to work from the top down, and I want to indicate dimension with atmospheric perspective. What does that mean? I'm going to be putting more blue into the colors that are further back. I'm beginning to see that I need to simplify this more. And so now we're going to move on to developing the bunny. Now it's time to develop the bunny's eye, and you'll see there's several steps involved with this. So the first step is to put in what I call eyeliner. Now this bunny has just a very little bit of eyeliner, but it's darker tissue that surrounds the eyeball. And now there's a blue reflected light coming from the eye itself. And the last step is that beautiful highlight that brings life to this eye. We're going to work a little more on the nose. I never paint full-time on Fridays because I volunteer at a gallery that runs on volunteers. And it's not that I am desperate for representation. That's not the case. I just want to pay back because I've gotten to where I want to be pretty much. And there's other folks that are standing in line and could use the encouragement of a gallery being there for them. And here you see me, I'm really struggling with trying to get the paint to move around the way I'm used to when I apply brush strokes. Now I will eventually get the hang of this, but it is definitely different than what I'm used to painting on this panel. It's not the same as ampersand panels. I've decided to lighten up the pressure that I'm putting on the brush and see how that goes. The values are off, so let's try to work on that. So you see I had to wipe it out, and that's because there was a buildup of pigment. If I don't wipe it out, I'll get mud. Let's just try putting in a neutral color in here. So I start using much thicker coats of paint. Here I'm trying to use the brush to suggest grasses. It's really about thicker paint application. That's the solution on this particular board. I'm finally getting the brushwork that I want and the paint to stay where I want it to stay. With more of a dark through here and here and here, here. And in this passage, I'm really trying to reestablish the darks that I lost by trying to develop this bunny. And this is not the ideal way of doing it. Ideally, you leave your darks in place and you don't have to rework it. So even though I like the way the background looks, I'm going to change the color of it. There's just too much green. put a little bit of red to make it look more like a shadow. I'm going to do a little bit of calligraphy right now. Okay, I'm going to push this up. Calligraphy in painting is thin lines, maybe around the main subject, but it's basically just thin lines. It's not making lettering like it is in the traditional form of calligraphy. And of course, I don't want to outline the entire rabbit. I kind of just want to bring out certain parts of the rabbit with the calligraphy. Now we're going to draw up some grass through here. Grab some grass color and draw it up. We're doing this so that we can settle the rabbit right into his environment instead of him looking like he's levitating. Well, let me try darkening around it. Okay, now we're going to put in those dandelions with my gel medium. So I'm putting in the darkest areas here. And then I'm going to add the yellow. I'm purposely leaving these more as a suggestion of dandelions or some kind of flower because this is all about the rabbit. I want to really settle him in here. Okay. I've decided to lighten right here just to make a little variation in value from the sky to that, I would call it like a suggestion of bushes area. I decided to carry that lightness further into the sky, and you'll see the final outcome. It just looks like the bunny is nestled in a wonderful, happy environment, and that's what I was going for. I am definitely happy with this little guy, so I'll sign my name. So I'm not sure what to say about this ARTEFEX panel. I think I like it. I just need more time to familiarize myself with how to paint on it, but I do think I like it.